Many of you are probably well aware right now, there is a deportation going on with the migration or the immigrants that have illegally crossed over our border. Sorry, I had the mic issue. And currently, there is a lot of squawk going around throughout the social media platforms and as well the mainstream media. Well, I was trying to stay away from getting into this. I was going to try to touch on other bases of media. However, I was listening to Tucker Carlson podcast earlier today while I was at the gym, and Matt Taibbi brought up a pretty valid point, saying we need to have more independent journalists now more than ever, getting out there and exposing the truth, and just being able to counteract the narrative going on, because they're going hard. And I really don't watch The View every day, but I'm just trying to get news and media, and they are main proponents of the propaganda machine. And for some reason, Sunny Hostin loves to get defamation, libel suits, and I don't know if it's a thing. Maybe she gets like trending on certain social media platforms. I'm not really sure on that. However, she has a record of it. And I mean, after we go through this, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me for all of them to have another one, because the numbers they're throwing out there are absolutely ridiculous with the whole migration problem and the deportation of the illegal immigrants that have come over the border. Mind you, the illegal criminal immigrants that have come over the border. Let's just take a look to see what they have to say. It's a real good time.
Yes. U.S. Border Czar Tom Homan has started using ICE agents to conduct a nationwide raid and the U.S. military to carry out mass deportations of undocumented citizens. Right. Now, he told ABC News chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz that this is just the beginning. Take a look.
Is this what we will see every single day, ending in what the president has promised is millions and millions being?
Yes, every single day. That is what the people that voted for Trump have wanted every single day. Every person who is going to cause an American to have some sort of issue walking down the street, going to get a job, anything of the sort, whether it is crime, whether it is the economic prosperity, any aspect of American life that is taking away from all of the current legal citizens here, period.
Deported.
Yes. But you can see the numbers steadily increase, the number of arrests nationwide, as we open up the aperture.
The estimates of perhaps those who have been convicted or arrested in the past, 700,000 to over 1 million. So after you do that, then you go after everybody who is there illegally.
If you're in the country illegally, you're on the table.
The acting Homeland Security Secretary said in a statement, criminals will no longer be able to hide in America's schools and churches to avoid arrest.
I want to say just real quick that when he said that if you're here illegally, you're on the table, I really think that was just a cut. If you look how the way the editing was done. Also, just to make one other small point, we're all trying to be strong with this. So I think that's the most perfect way to do it. I don't really think that they're going to waste more financial problems. They're probably going to they're going to take the economic issues that we have been having, take the amount that we're saving. So the net that we save after these deportations, they're probably going to take that and probably take it in and reinvest it into getting the other, let's say 9 million or so illegals who have come here and that can be here. If they can still be here, I'm sure we can quickly process them with the rest of that money, because I did some quick math here, and we'll get into that a little later, on how much we will be actually saving and how much it has been actually costing us with the past 4 years of the past administration compared to what we will be getting with this administration.
What criminals are hiding in schools?
How many MS-13 members are at age 14, 17? Many of them.
So, is this the immigration system fix that people had in mind when they voted?
This is the immigration system broken and not what they voted for 4 years ago and what they were told was going to be a completely different thing. And this has been a complete surge, and at this point has been some sort of complete infiltration into our country with all of the people who have surged over the border.
Do you think?
Well, it's hard to tell at this table because no one voted for it. But I think if you were, I don't know yet. It's kind of, it's disturbing what we're seeing, and the headlines and all the coverage would make you think that there's this massive deportation. But by numbers, it contextually, President Obama still remains the deporter in chief. Even if Trump continues at this rate, he will not even hit what President Obama hit in 1 year with 400,000. But the point here is that it's meant to be a PR campaign. So it's meant to scare people. That's what they're doing right now. And when you look at these flights where they are deporting people back to their origin nation, we don't know who they are. And that's where I'd like to see more transparency. If indeed, right now, everyone on these flights is a violent criminal, I think we can all agree everyone thinks they should leave the country. We were saying
they are. That's why they're getting the special expedited treatment to get the F out the country.
that this morning. It's common sense. But what we're not getting is a breakdown of who these people are. On the first day of Trump's presidency, DHS, there was a press release, and they said that they had nabbed more than 300 illegal migrant criminals, including 1 attempted murder and 1 child molester. But what about the other 298? What was their crime? Because I think either you own the fact that these are all violent criminals and break down who these people are, what their crime was, and tell the American people, or tell us what they really are and let us have a healthy debate over the disagreement.
I'll stop right there real quick. I completely agree with her. I am not a complete, I want to see the numbers on who are these other people as well, because if they all are in we'd say the American law, all felony-based crimes, I don't want another felon in the country. Do you? Does anybody else want another felon in the country? I mean, I think that that's important, and I would like to see that transparency too, and I'm sure that is going to happen. But the data she's talking about is just detainees from ICE. So if they're crossing the border illegally, once again, that is why we are not allowed to have you come over if you've committed any crimes, because you're committing a crime, and a crime that is against the law here and in many other countries. Cannot express this enough. It is illegal for you to do so. So that is a crime already. So you'll have to be detained.
Of how this is being carried out.
Because, I think the answer to your question would be is yes and no for the public. So 87% of Americans support deporting undocumented migrants who've committed crimes in this country. That's nearly a universal opinion that I think we stand by. 55% express some desire to see anyone who's here unlawfully leave. So that's a lot more split. What I'd say is this when we talk about this issue. Most nations on earth deal with the question of how to secure their border and how many migrants to take in. It's not uniquely American. It's not xenophobic to simply care about it. There's national security imperatives. There's economic imperatives. And what we're seeing now, what matters to me is how it's done, that it's done humanely and safely, and that we're prioritizing the people who shouldn't be here. So again, people who have committed offenses against people. But also, I think that it's important that we contextualize it, because to Sarah's point, in Obama's first term, 3 million people were deported. That's much slower than what Trump's on pace to do right now. And I'd finally...
No. Okay, real quick. So according to The Hill, right? And excuse me, but let me try to zoom this in for everybody here. Let me try to zoom in just a tiny bit here. But you're looking, according to The Hill, Trump's administration has yet to deport more than 260,000 people in a year, the Post recorded. Obama administration deported 849,000 people in 2012 alone. Okay. While Obama's administration deported 1.18 million people in the first 3 years, the number of deportations has been a little under 800,000 so far for Trump. according to the Post. Okay, it takes 5 minutes to do this before you go on air. Okay, they give you a rundown. I'm sure you go into a freaking green room.
Say that I think that America is supposed to be a shining city on a hill. I think that
The number of immigrants that come from Mexico or Mexican-born are the largest. But the next largest are Asians. 28% of them come. I don't think they walk across the southern border.
Oh, you
I
don't?
think they come by plane. The next largest are Europeans. I don't think they
This is
walk
unlawful.
either.
Okay, Sonny. So let me just take a look here. And this is just Google real quick, but I could actually go into the article too. I just find it quite hilarious that that they are showing it right on Google's AI, which means pulling up from a valid article. And they looked down and found the article. So here we go, everyone. We are seeing right here, right on Google, a record number of Chinese migrants are currently crossing the U.S. southern border, marking a significant increase in Asian migrants attempting to enter the country through this route, with figures showing thousands more Chinese nationals apprehended at the border compared to previous years, largely attributed to factors like China's pandemic restrictions and economic conditions. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's an AI thing. However, this is from NPR. A record 400,000 migrants have crossed over the Darien land. It is not impossible, says Ying said, of the narratives that the Chinese government, excuse me. Oh, I know you want me just to subscribe, NPR. The Chinese government might be sending in bad people through unauthorized border crossings, but aren't most people coming here to live better and escape oppression? Her skepticism is shared by those who have long worked on and studied national security and immigration. I completely agree. It's a strange thing that's been going on. So, Sonny, you can't say those things without looking at the facts. The facts and the sad thing is that a lot of these people, a lot of them are not even from South America and Central America. A lot of them are from across the Pacific Ocean. So they had to get a plane and take a plane to go to the southern border, then to cross. So why couldn't they just come and take a plane directly into America? Okay, what are you? The race baiting, the crazy thoughts of just inhumane treatment and how everybody right now is racist and everything else and discriminating and no one knows the facts. It takes 5 minutes to go onto Google where it gives you a dang AI right there and gives you the information, and it takes you another 2 minutes to see what is real and what's not. And it's not going to be surprising if you wind up with another defamation case and being held liable for some more BS that you're saying on national television.
I'm just saying immigrants, right?
Oh, not undocumented though.
A lot of them are undocumented.
Yeah,
actually.
But that's not the stat for being.
But a lot
Asians
of them
are the
come by
second
plane
most.
and then overstay their visas. They overstay their visas. They overstay their visas, so they're undocumented. The Europeans that come here that overstay their visas are undocumented, but they don't come across the southern border. So I think there's a very clear message as to what this president wants the look of a criminal migrant to look like, what an undocumented migrant. And I think that's racist. Let me also say
I think she's racist.
that, in my view, he has circumvented established law by weaponizing the U.S. military.
Can you explain what you mean by
That's
that?
not
Generally, before being
not true. He
deported,
declared a
you
national
have an asylum case
emergency.
pending in front of a court, and you must appear in front of that judge. Right now, there are 3 million asylum cases and 900 judges. That is why the bipartisan bill that was going to be passed addressed that particular issue. Instead of dealing with it legally in that way, and I'm not saying he's doing it illegally, what he did was declared a national emergency
a couple minutes
that
ago
qualifies as a foreign
she was doing it
invasion.
illegally.
And on the U.S.-Mexico border, not any other border. And that cleared the way for the Department of Defense to deploy.
I'm sorry, it just probably, let's see. Probably
He
here.
has circumvented established law by weaponizing the U.S. military.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
Generally, before being deported, you have an asylum case pending in front of a court, and you must appear in front of that
But it's
judge.
becoming
Right
national
now, there are
security.
3 million asylum cases and 900 judges. That is why the bipartisan bill that was going to be passed addressed that particular issue.
It wasn't gonna be
Instead
passed
of
'cause it didn't
dealing with
pass.
it legally in that way, and I'm not saying he's doing it illegally, what he did was declared a national
catch someone.
emergency
No, I
that
gotta
qualifies as
admit
a
when I'm
foreign
wrong there, you know?
invasion. And on the U.S.-Mexico border, not any other border. And that cleared the way for the Department of Defense to
I live in a border state, okay? I live in a border state. I don't live in Mexico. I don't live in New Mexico. I don't live in Arizona. I don't live in Texas. I don't live in California. I live in New York, but it is a border state, okay? And we have Border Patrol, and we have the up and down Homeland Security all the time at our port here over by Lake Ontario, okay? And there are a lot of people by the Adirondacks in upstate New York where a lot of people have crossed through that border illegally because it's normally speaking, nobody really watches it. There is a state penitentiary up there, and that's about it. And you have also Lake Placid. That is about it. And so, listen, if those are your stats, you don't know what you're talking about. So,
deploy the military at a 60% increase.
That's just
I just
one border.
think that our military members, many of them did not join the military to do that job. And let me say just finally,
I'm sorry to do this again, but I'm actually going to check at some point soon because at the station, they closed down recently the border patrol up here, the station, because of, whatever with the last administration. So I'm going to actually see if it's up and running again because I'm assuming it is because when I went to the bus station to go down to the city during New Year's Eve, I did see a lot more border patrol agents all driving all throughout the city of Rochester. So
that they are also racially profiling in doing this. In Newark, New Jersey, a business venue on Thursday was raided, and among the citizens that they detained and questioned was a Puerto Rican man and a military vet. For the 50 million thousandth time, Puerto Ricans are Americans and disproportionately serve in the military. And so I say all of this to say that I am
they were probably detained for the time being while they were going through and checking everyone's IDs to figure out who was
by what I'm seeing.
Who was the actual
let me speak, please.
people they were looking for.
So, you asked the question, is this what people voted for? I've actually seen some video this weekend of Latinos who voted for Trump crying because now their abuelas and their tios are getting deported.
Right.
I'm having a very hard time mustering up any sympathy for those people.
Yeah.
And look, I'm an immigrant. I know the desperation that it takes to leave your country. Amongst immigrants in particular, there is no doubt that we want anybody who had the opportunity to come to this great country and committed a crime, we want them punished.
Yes, we want everyone punished. That's where she's about to go, and that's where she's heading right now. And I don't think that, I'm gonna let it play.
Punished, we want them deported to the fullest extent of the law. But a lot of good, hardworking people who are in our schools, who are our colleagues, who own houses and businesses here, who are the parents of U.S. citizen children, are getting caught up in this. Because it's been reported that ICE offices all over the country have been given a quota. There is no way they meet that quota just with criminal aliens. And let me just say, I think that what he's done with the military, in addition to the legal aspects that may be involved, has a lot to do with a publicity stunt. The point is cruelty. The point is instilling fear. But it's also very costly. A charter DHS flight, it's been reported, is something like $8,500.
It's more than that, actually. It's more than
C-130 is $816,000. So each one of those planes is costing us, so that he can have his picture and his photo op, 100 times more what a charter flight would be.
I know these ladies don't own guns, but they love to hip fire. And if they had one, I could see them just doing that straight out, just hip firing. Here's just some more facts real quick. Here's the cost and this is where the math real quick. Here's the cost of the border crisis from the past 4 years. Past 4 years from the Biden-Harris administration, $150 billion per year. That equates to almost $9,000 per migrant annually, $150 billion per year on border expenses. That's crazy. And I know that there's more too that's probably not in that number, because you're forgetting about how the Department of Health has a whole sector dealing with the migrant problem. FEMA also has a whole sector dealing with the migrant problem. I believe the Department of Commerce also has a portion giving money to and allocating towards the migrant problem. So that's just probably one small aspect of funding that has been going towards this problem. From the past 4 years, you're looking at $600 billion. $600 billion, right? Now, if you look from the cost of Trump's deportation, right? Right now, I'm getting spotty reports, right? I will go with the most outrageous number. And that's why I'm saying that her number is wrong and that it is a lot higher, because I'm finding article after article reporting an outrageous number of $852,000 per C-130 flight, deporting about 80 migrants at a time. However, you look at the numbers that it's costing right now, the $600 billion, right? It's going to start bringing down a lot of the costs and start saving us a whole bunch of money. That extra $354 billion that we're investing alone into the deportation of the most highest priority and illegal and criminal actors that came over the border. Once we file through all of them and we can get to some of the rest of the people here who are family members, and nothing for nothing, I'm assuming that they're hoping for some sort of cascade effect where during this time, as they're rounding up all the criminal migrants, that as that time is going by, that other people are leaving on their own fruition, therefore saving Americans more money, right? That cascade effect will then start to cause some sort of exponential drop into the cost going into the migrant situation, and therefore saving Americans a whole bunch of money. I really believe that the leftover money, especially the amount of money that we'll save, probably about roughly around, I'd get roughly about almost 200 billion, and that's the lower side. It's about $250 billion a year, or after 4 years you would save. Put that towards all the new prospering people who want to become Americans, and who have waited for so long to get through their asylum court hearings. Put that money towards it. So then if they are really seeking asylum, and they really are here because they are looking to get away from oppression and not from like economic disparity, but coming away from, basically tyranny, their lives are being threatened, X, Y, and Z, and we can expedite them and we can put some of that money towards that. I think it's a lot more of a productive and humane way of doing this, instead of this cattle herding of human beings through the borders. And all the way to the point where we have nothing for nothing, probably now more than, because that last statistic of 400,000 children missing, it's probably more than that at this point, and it makes my stomach turn, because it's like just almost forgotten about. And then you see, a bunch of people already on the social media platforms being absolutely ridiculous. I mean, to the point of, I'm starting to see curdling. Just almost every post is about impeach Trump, something about the deportations, and it's like, you know what? I think people are really numb to it. And I mean, when you go into the comment section of just, let me pick someone here. Let's see. That's a really good one. That'll be going from someone. Come on, give me someone good. Oh, you're failing me right now. No. You know what? I'm gonna just do this. Good old Harry. I've never seen the parody. I think it's really funny. I mean, just I mean, come on. And then
struggling this week.
This is why TikTok
Heart
is
goes out
influential.
to you. Hope you're doing okay.
I don't really understand his relevancy. And how did it do that? I don't really understand his relevancy and what he really is trying to. I think he's really meant for just TikTok. Really should be kissing Donald Trump's ass at this point. But needless to say, things gotta change with the people on the media. Things gotta change with the ladies on The View. I won't be surprised if they get another liable suit for talking about some sort of BS. That's all I got for now. Everybody have a good day. Peace.